Too lazy to garden? Plant these 15 self-seeding perennials in June. Okay, real talk. You went out in spring. You had the energy. You planted things. Annuals, some perennials, maybe a little bit of everything, and for a few weeks it looked great. Then June hit. Life got busy. You watered maybe twice, pulled a few weeds, and then the whole project just quietly slipped down your priority list. You walked past those beds every day, eyes straight ahead, guilt doing its thing. That was me. Every single year. Here's what nobody told me that would have saved me years of wasted money and frustrated afternoons. The problem was never me. The problem was I kept planting things that needed me. Today, I'm fixing that for you. June is actually the secret window most gardeners completely overlook, and if you plant these 15 self-seeding perennials right now, they won't just come back next year. They'll multiply on their own, fill in your bare spots for free, and make your garden look more intentional every single season without you lifting a finger. Plant number 9 is the one I've never had to replant. Not once in 6 years. Stay with me. Today we're covering 15 self-seeding perennials you can still plant in June. Built specifically for busy, forgetful, real-life gardeners who want beauty without the babysitting. These plants drop their own seeds, come back bigger every year, and slowly fill in your beds for free. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. This is exactly the kind of content I put out every single week, and you don't want to keep missing it. Plant number 12 alone is worth staying for. Trust me on that one. Let's get into it. Plant number 1. Black-eyed Susan, Rudbeckia fulgida. This one is basically impossible to kill, and I mean that literally. Black-eyed Susans are those classic golden yellow flowers with the bold, dark brown center that show up in meadows, roadsides, and gardens all across the country. There's a reason they're everywhere. They earned it. They are drought-tolerant, heat-hardy, and here is the key trait for today's list. They self-seed prolifically. Leave the seed head standing after bloom and new plants emerge the following spring. You plant 1, you end up with 5. You plant 5, you end up with a sweeping mass of gold. Hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9. One honest caveat. In rich, heavily amended soil, they can spread aggressively, so give them a lean, sunny spot and let them do their thing. Plant number 2, coneflower. Echinacea purpurea. If you've never grown coneflowers, today is the day that changes. These tall, daisy-like beauties come in purple, pink, white, orange, and red, and they are among the most forgiving plants you will ever put in the ground. They handle heat, they handle drought, they grow in poor soil. The self-seeding behavior here is exceptional. One plant becomes 12 without you doing a single thing. Leave the spiky seed head standing through fall and winter, and goldfinches will feed on them while your garden reseeds itself for next year. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. Drought tolerant once established. One of the highest value pollinator plants on this entire list. Plant number 3. Yarrow, Achillea millefolium. Yarrow started as a wildflower. That tells you everything about its toughness. Flat-topped flower clusters in red, yellow, pink, cream, or white sit above feathery fern-like foliage that looks beautiful even when the plant isn't blooming. It self-seeds freely and spreads through underground rhizomes, so it fills your garden from 2 directions at once. Here's the insider tip. Most videos skip. Yarrow is allelopathic. It releases compounds into the soil that naturally suppress weed growth around it. You're getting a weed suppressor and a flower garden in one plant. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. Plant it in your leanest, sunniest spot. Rich soil makes it floppy. Plant number 4. Columbine, Aquilegia. Columbine is one of the most enchanting self-seeders in the garden world. The flowers are genuinely unlike anything else. Layered, spurred, nodding blooms in every combination of red, yellow, blue, purple, pink, and white imaginable. They bloom in late spring to early summer, and the seeds they drop come back as the most wonderful surprises the following year. often in color combinations different from the parent plant. They thrive in part shade to full sun, prefer average to lean soil with good drainage, and are hardy in zones 3 through 9. Here's what most people don't know. Columbine self-seeds so prolifically that established plants will supply every bare spot in a bed within 2 to 3 seasons, all for free. Plant number 5, Foxglove, Digitalis purpurea. Foxglove is technically biennial, but it self-seeds so reliably that it behaves exactly like a perennial in the garden. You plant it once and it's there every year from that point forward, just in a slightly different spot each time, which is part of its charm. Those tall, dramatic spikes covered in tubular bells in cream, white, pink, lavender, and deep rose are unlike anything else for vertical drama in a June garden. Hummingbirds find them irresistible. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. One honest caveat: foxglove is toxic if ingested, so plant thoughtfully if you have young children or pets that chew on plants. We're halfway through the list, and the plants we just covered are some of the most proven, hardest-working self-seeders in the gardening world. But the last half is where it gets really good. Coming up, we've got a plant that blooms in the very first year from seed, planted in June, and 2 ground-level spreaders that will quietly eliminate your bare soil problem and your weeding problem at the same time. Do not click away. The best ones are still coming. Plant number 11, California poppy, Eschscholzia californica. Silk orange, tissue paper blooms that practically glow in sunlight. California poppies self-seed with almost theatrical enthusiasm. Once they are in a garden, they are in that garden forever, returning in larger and larger drifts every season. They want the worst soil you have. Lean, sandy, dry, full sun. The worse the conditions, the better they perform. Hardy in zones 8 through 10 as a perennial. Grown as a self-seeding annual everywhere else. A plant that rewards neglect. Plant number 12, Sweet Alyssum, Lobularia maritima. This is the one I told you to stay for. Sweet Alyssum grows only 3 to 6 inches tall, but it produces a carpet of tiny white or purple flowers that smell like honey, bloom for months, and self-seed so aggressively that once it's in your garden, you will never plant it again. It fills cracks between pavers, tumbles over bed edges, and threads itself between larger plants in a way that looks intentional and designed. Pollinators are completely obsessed with it. Plant it once in June, and it seeds itself back every single year. Plant number 13, Larkspur, Consolida agastache. Tall, cool-toned, genuinely dramatic. Larkspur sends up towering spikes of blue, purple, pink, and white flowers that add vertical structure and cottage garden elegance. It's a hardy annual that self-seeds prolifically in place. Scatter the seeds in June, and the following year the plants emerge on their own without any prompting. Hardy and cold-tolerant, it actually does better in cool soil, making a June planting ideal for establishing next year's colony. Plant number 14, Violets, Viola odorata. If you have a shaded corner you don't know what to do with, violets are your answer. Low-growing, evergreen in mild climates, fragrant, and one of the most cheerful self-seeders in the spring garden. They naturalize quietly, filling in gaps without ever becoming a problem. Hardy in zones 4 through 8. Plant number 15, Ornamental onion, Phos allium. I saved this one for last on purpose. Alliums produce perfect, globe-shaped flower heads, lavender, purple, or white, that stand above the rest of the garden on tall stems and look like something a professional designer placed there deliberately. The smaller species self-seed generously, naturalizing over time into a spreading colony that requires nothing from you. Deer won't touch them. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. The dried seed heads hold their structure well into winter, giving you months of visual interest long after the bloom is gone. Here's what I really want you to hear before you go. You don't need a green thumb. You don't need a free weekend. You don't need to know everything about gardening before you start. You just need to begin with plants that are designed to do the hard work themselves. Pick 3 from this list. Just 3. Plant them this June. Then walk away and let them do their thing. Because next spring, when those plants come back on their own, bigger, spreading wider, seeding, into the bare spots you didn't even plan for, you are going to feel like a genius. There's nothing quite like stepping outside on a June morning, coffee in hand, looking at a garden full of color, and knowing the plants built most of it without you. That's the self-seeder's secret. And now it's yours. If this helped you today, there's a lot more where this came from. Every single week I'm breaking down exactly how to build a beautiful garden without it taking over your life. Simple, practical, made for real people with real schedules. If you're not subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit that button, turn on the notification bell, and this content comes straight to you every week. And before you go, drop a comment below. Tell me which of these 15 self-seeding perennials you're starting with this June. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know which one you're trying first. Now go get your hands a little dirty. You've got everything you need. I'll see you in the next one.